Hey Cancer, welcome to Black Star Tarot. This is your monthly oracle reading. So before we get started, we're going to be using the Spirit Speaking deck and Path of Shadows and the Wisdom Oracle deck. Okay, and let me take this headband off because it's giving me a headache. All right, I'm ready to get started, guys. So first we're going to get you a couple messages from the oracle, and then we're going to do your oracle reading. So let's just see what quick messages we have here for you this month, what it is that spirit or the divine or whatever your beliefs are need you to know at this time. So what does Cancer need to know? Oh, there we go. I'm gonna take it. So it says align yourself. So this month you guys may be called to get back into maybe some meditation practices, spiritual practices, maybe some grounding, things like that. So remember, any decisions you make this month, do them from the heart, right? Make sure that they're honest, make sure that you're on the up and up, okay? You also, I don't know where this just came from, but Spirit wants you to focus on your finances this month. I guess that would be for everybody, but as I was thinking, it popped in my head, so I just decided to share it with you. So focus on your finances. Maybe you need to get back into alignment. Maybe you're spending too much, or hey, you could be holding back too much too, because you know how that energy works. You know, if you're holding back too much, then you're not trusting and you're not allowing it to come back in. So maybe you guys, due to circumstances and with the economy or what have you, maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but I just heard it. So maybe you need to align your finances, align yourself, whatever it is that may be a little off to you right now. Okay, so what else do we have for Cancer? This is my first time using this deck. Okay, guys, so I used it in the other reading, so it's not my first time, but during this set of readings, it's my first time. So all right, what do you have? Let me get my glasses because I can't see this fancy writing. It says cauldron, intention, alchemy, and manifestation. So some of you may be working on your spiritual practices. Maybe you are trying to manifest something, but you may be out of alignment. Like, it's crazy with manifesting because, you know, there's so many tricks to it, right? It's just not one step with manifestation. It's like you have to put your heart into it. You know, you have to put your imagination into it, and then you have to stay set at it. Like, you can't like deviate, you can't not trust, like things like that. And that does take quite a bit, you know, of alignment, because you have to always be aware of like what your thoughts are, like what your beliefs are, and any action that you're taking towards your manifestation. So some of you may be doing that. Maybe there's something that you want, something you need, or maybe you just feel like you just want to tune up, you know, the spiritual side of you this month. Okay, so we have intuition here. It said intuition, right? Yeah. Oh no, it says intention. Yes, intention, alchemy, manifestation. All right, let's see. All right, let's start your oracle messages. So Spirit, what do we have for Cancer? All right, we have truth be told. All right now. So let's see. That's card number 14. We're going to read that. Okay, we're going to read card 14. All right, 13 and 14. So it says, truth be told, honesty, accepting things at face value, coming out of denial, the willingness to be transparent, clarity of communication. So it says there is the truth, which is the essence of a thing. And then there is a truth, subjective, according to the philosophy of the adherent or the believer. This is not a time to debate about which truth is truer. This is a time when you are called to proclaim your truth out loud and be willing to be transparent, honest, and open in your communication with others and with yourself. Nothing less than surrender to what is, peeling off the layers of denial that kept you tied to an illusion will set you free. Be authentic and gloriously flawed, and spirit will answer with miracles. All right, guys, so some type of change here because we have card 14, and in numerology, we're going to break that down to a 5. And 5s are usually about changes, okay? And sometimes those changes can be, you know, a little disruptive. So some of you could be seeing 55 a lot. Maybe you're even seeing 14. I don't know. But there's an energy here where the need to be honest with yourself and others is at play. Okay, for me personally, I feel like this isn't about a real conversation with somebody else. I feel like this is all within yourself, particularly where you're setting your intentions to, you know, if you are trying to manifest right now, like you have to be, like, it's almost like you have to ignore the outside, like whatever your circumstances that you may be in, you have to act like they don't exist, like it's all an illusion. And then inside or internally, we have to, you know, like believe it. We have to feel it. Like we have to attach ourselves to it. And we have to speak those things. You know, don't be like, hey, I ain't got no money this month. Be like, I have money coming in, right? Now that may be the case. You may be, you know, you may be broke, you know, this week, whatever. And you could be on the phone talking to a friend, and you'd be like, dang, I ain't got no money this week. You know, and your friend probably be like, right, but what you should be saying, actually don't say that at all. But if you have to have a conversation about it, you know, your conversations with your friends should be like, you know, I can't wait for this financial blessing to come in. You know, like speak that way, because that's the truth, right? The truth is that, you know, we can get these things. Like I truly believe in things like the law of attraction and that our thoughts manifest things. I believe that like wholeheartedly. But the trick is just that, like being able to get like the routine down pat, you know, getting the insides and the outsides, although they conflict with each other. You know, you may see, you know, that you need more, but you're going to pretend like you have everything. And doing that is hard because of the physical, like we see what's around us. So I honestly feel like a lot of this is within you. Now, for others of you, this could be you and somebody else. Maybe a conversation, you know, that you have to have, but Spirit is saying like before you do, make sure you align yourself so you don't say anything that you can't take back or anything of that nature. But I honestly, you know, in this reading, I feel like it's all about, you know, manifestation. That's kind of how I feel. You know, you guys are aligning yourself because everything is out of alignment. Like everybody right now in the spiritual world, actually everybody on the planet, whether spiritual, religious or not, doesn't matter. We should be trying to align ourselves as closely to source as possible so that we can figure out what's truth and what's not. Because there's so much illusion, so much deception, you know, here in the world, right? Look, so you got the High Priestess, and the High Priestess is all about having that wisdom, right? Having that hidden knowledge. And there you'll find your dreams, Cancer, right? So, you know, it's hard in a sense because we're not used to manifesting. We're not used to believing that we are gods, right? God is not outside of us. At least that's my belief, right? You know, he's not, or is not a he or she, but this energy is not distant from us, right? We don't need intercessors. We don't need anybody to tell us what to do. We just need to align ourselves and then just connect, okay? Because the High Priestess says, like, you know, if you want to know the secret, you got it. And the High Priestess is actually, you know, you're showing Pisces card for me, right? So you're showing up here. So this is a direct message to you, Cancer, that the divine is saying, hey, just be quiet for a minute, all right? Step on over here with me, and that's where you'll find like the secrets, right? Remember what was that? Oh yeah, it was called The Secret. And the High Priestess it's all about that. She's all about secrets. She's all about the mystery. She's all about knowledge and understanding. All right, so I think you guys are trying to level up this month when it comes to your manifestation. Like maybe you've seen something on TV, you're like, you know what, I'm about to do that. I'm about to take this serious. And I know that there is, I usually listen to Neville Goddard, and I put him on in the morning when I'm heading into work, and then I just listen. And he's all about like that, about manifesting and things. So, you know, here you go. Like, look at this. You have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is, it's everything. This is a card of like Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, Taurus. If someone would to be involved in here, okay? We only see the High Priestess right now, but you know, those energies could be around you. But this is like a new cycle for you, okay? Like you're wanting to evolve, right? You want to, you want to know what your destiny, like you want some type of change. You want some type of a movement, right? Because the wheel speaks of change. And, you know, as I said before, earlier in the reading, like fives represent change, right? They represent movement, right? It's time to move on to a new cycle, all right, to something different. So I like that the wheel is showing up because this one is the Wheel of Fortune, right? So that means that, you know, if you're working on manifesting something for finances, I feel like you're going to be successful. You just have to stay focused and don't let anything move you. So for those of you who are working on a little spiritual magic this month, it's all about like something new for you, some type of change. Like, what is your destiny? What am I here for? Right? You want something to turn around this month. Maybe you're tired of the same old, same old. You want something new. Okay. So we have the Four of Wands and we have the Seven of Pentacles. You know, and I see this, it's funny because, you know, you can see what his intentions are. Like in this month, I feel like you guys really want something to grow, you know, something to pay off for you in some way. So for some of you, if this is like business or something, or you've invested in something somehow, you want this to pay off for you because you're trying to get to this Four of Wands, okay? But I feel like you're moving. Okay, you're moving. I feel like you've already started this. And the Four of Wands speaks of prosperity. It talks about, you know, having a happy life, a happy home, you know, celebrations, and most of all, you know, stability. So if you look at this guy on the card, right, you know, he's just waiting for his money, right? Because once this gets to where it needs to be, then you'll be able to step into this energy, okay? So this is what your goal is. This is what you want. You want more money. We all do. And for a lot of you, it's about money, but it's also about just wanting to change, you know, just like, why am I here? What is my purpose? Where am I going? What am I doing? You know, some of you may not even know exactly what you want. You may have a lot already, but, you know, not really feeling satisfied. What else for Cancer? So you're working towards your destiny, okay? So here's something new. The Page of Cups. The Page of Cups talks about, you know, messages. It talks about surprises. He talks about some of you could be having, you know, a secret admirer, but I don't think so, right? I just think that pages always bring some type of news. All right. The good thing about pages, like the Pages of Cups and the Page of Wands, the Wands usually bring exciting news, right? The Page of Wands brings exciting news, but the Page of Cups mean, you know, it's going to bring you something that's not just exciting, but something that's going to move you, right? Something that's going to really make you happy. All right. So I see this coming in. So in all of this is like he's facing the past. He's facing the past. You know, I feel like for some of you, you've already, oh my God, you've already taken these steps towards, you know, this process. So reading or being at this reading is not going to be anything new, right? It's almost like clarification of what you're already doing right now. You're trying to change your future. You know, you're trying to change your present so that you will have a better future. And you have Aquarius showing up here twice, okay? So some of you, if you just so happen, you know, to get a message from an admirer, right? They could potentially be, you know, of an Aquarius, because we do have the Page of Cups. There could be an apology for some of you from an Aquarius, as well as either another Cancer or Pisces, okay? Maybe because that's here. So this is a great month for you. I think that we all should be doing this now, because a lot of people are, you know, in a place where it's like you don't know what the hell is going on. But not you this month, okay? You guys got some really good good energy around you, and that's great. So let's get one clarifier, and then we're going to go Cancer. I think your month is going to be simply amazing, right? Or the best it can possibly be. You know, I don't like to hype things up too much, but we do have those periods in our lives where things are quiet and things are flowing like they should, and we feel at peace. And I honestly feel like you got one coming in, okay? Where things are just going to quiet down for a while. I love the star because the star is a healing energy. She's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, she brings blessings, she brings healing, she brings money and inspiration. Like, this is all in your future. This wheel and the star is in your future. Like, there's no better way to end the reading than to have that. All right, so let's get a clarifier. Yeah, huge change for you guys. So you have the Tower and you have the Nine of Cups also on the bottom of the deck. This is wealth, this is money, this is change, this is reward, and it's freedom, right? So you're breaking through something, you know, around you this month, something in your energy, something that you want and something that you're gonna get, Cancer. So if you wanted, you got it, you good.